Hello students, I'm your Ramana sir. In this video, we're gonna learn Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. It's one of the poems of Robert Frost. It's a short poem of fire and ice, fire and ice. Ice. And first of all, let's move on to his introduction. And this is his introduction, a small introduction about the poet Robert Lee Frost on March 26, 1874 and January 29th and 1963. And he was an American poet, but he was settled in England and used a simple language to express complex social philosophical themes, and he is the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes. Do you know why do they give Pulitzer Prizes for literature? If they produce any poet, a novelist, or a person who produces a great work for literature, and they receive Pulitzer Prizes, and to receive one Pulitzer Prize is a very difficult task, and this poet who received 4 times, and moreover, and he was nominated for 31 times a Nobel Prize in literature, and he was also known as the poet laureate of Vermont. Shakespeare is called the Bard of Avon, and he was known as the poet laureate of Vermont. And this is a small introduction about the poet, and we should understand the poem now. Dear students, and before we start off the small poem, and I want to give a small introduction about the poem, the background of the poem, and why was it written by Robert Frost. And the poem, before he writes, he was influenced by Dante, an Italian poet, Dante, and great work. Dante produced a great work, the Divine Comedy. The Divine Comedy. He produced the Divine Comedy. The Divine Comedy. And it is a trilogy, 3 books. First one is Inferno, and Paradise and Purgatory. 3 sections are there, and he was influenced by the Inferno, F-E-R-N-O, Inferno meaning in Italian and hell. So according to the book Inferno, the hell has 9 circles, the punishments. 9 types of punishments are mentioned here. The 9th one is the frozen lake of ice. The frozen lake of ice. And so our poem is also has 9 lines. I hope that he has taken based on that influence. 9 lines are there. First stranger. Now you can see here 4 lines. First stranger, 4 lines, and second stranger, and 5 lines. Total 9 lines. And altogether 51 words. You can count it. 51 words. A beautiful poem. Small words. The limitation of the words are lesser, but the significance is larger. That's what the poet is. And here, let's move on to the poem. First 4 lines. Four lines. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor a fire. Once again, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor a fire. So this is the first stanza, and second stanza. Let's move on to the second stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Alright. So the poem, which consists of two stanzas but has a larger meaning, it deals with one theme. The theme is eschatology. Eschatology. The word is unfamiliar to you. You can learn even eschatology. Eschatology. ESCHATO. 1 minute, please. TOLOZY. Eschatology. ZY. Eschatology. The meaning eschatology means the end of the life. The end of the life and the end of the earth. The poem discusses how the world is going to end. We all studied, and we have fear how the world is going to be ended. And we waited even. We feel fear about the world. And 2012, the movie, I think one of the movies which was made by the English directors, and I watched it. So it was a curiosity. So here, before we say that, here there are two kinds of notions among the people. They say, some say the world will end in fire. Some means it's an indefinite pronoun. Some means not, we don't know. That may be scientists and people. It's one kind of category of the people. They say that the world will end in fire. Perhaps the poet has taken the theme after it was published and written and published in 1920, so that we can understand 1914 to 1919 First World War. After the very soon the First World War, it was written, so that even the impact was there in the minds of the poet about this First World War. Fire is here. That may be atomic power, or weapon, or any. So some people they believe that the fire is the fire, atomic power or atomic weapon or anything is going to end this world. And some say in ice. Some say means here complete sentence is not given here, but some say the world will end in ice. That's a full sentence actually. Some say in ice. So this is second category people. So we can see here two kinds of people's opinion. First line, one kind of people, they believe in that the world is going to end with fire. And the second kind of people, they believe that world is going to end in ice. And what was the opinion of the poet now? Third line that we are going to see. Third line. From what I have tasted of desire. Tasted means it's what was his support, and he agreed. Tasted means agreed, he supported. The desire means fire. It is symbolically a representation of fire, desire only. So that he supports fire. He favors, he supports the people opinion. He agrees, he confesses. He confesses that the people who believe in fire, that the world is going to end, he supports them, he endorses them. That's what third line is going to express. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So I want to discuss the poet's, why does the poet express his opinion? He was basically a Christian, and his wife Mary, and we understand that. And what the Christian philosophy says, and Quran and Christianity and Quran says about the world, how the world is going to be ended. And we all know that Noah story. God, Noah was a virtuous man, and he was an upright, and he was a faithful man before God, so that the entire world become sinful, so that God called Noah and his three sons, Japheth and Shem, Ham, and he asked Noah to prepare an ark. He was going to destroy with water, flood. That was a great flood. So except the family of Noah, the entire world was deluged and submerged and inundated completely. So, and God has said, God made a covenant, Noahic covenant with Noah, and he kept a rainbow in the sky, not to destroy next time with water. So one element, we are sure that it was not going to end with water, that maybe ice or water. So that's the reason, that might be the reason the poet supports or endorses with fire, the people's opinion with fire. Okay, and now next move on to the second stanza. This is very clear, and the second stanza. Now let's move on to second stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Would suffice. What is the meaning suffice? Here, the meanings, let us see once. Meanings, glossary part. Let's see. Glossary part. Perish, meaning die. Suffice. It's not suffice. Suffice means to be sufficient, to be enough, good enough to destroy the world. What does it express? What does he want to express here in second stanza that consists of 5 lines? Now see here, but if it had to perish twice, and generally, and we learned if condition. This is hypothetical condition, hypothetical condition. That means in imaginary sentence. If plus add to plus this one, imaginary condition or hypothetical condition, that means not it happened. We feel that it is a past tense used twice, completed one. No. It's imaginary condition that he was going to say. In this line. In this line, I think he was feeling. I know enough. He feels hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great. So hate is the symbolically representation of ice. So ice is also great, not only fire. Ice is also great to destroy this world. To destroy this world, ice is also great, not only fire. That means he also accepts. Ice is also great to destroy this world. Suffice means sufficient. Suffice means sufficient. What is the meaning, inner meaning of Robert Frost here? Yeah, let's move on to inner meaning of the fire. Fire is symbolically represented here, symbolically represented here. Fire symbolically used here. Desire, our desire, our desires, our passions, strong feelings to get something. Our passions are infinitive. We get one passion after another. They spread like fire. In order to take our passions, our desires, like the desire, our desires, human desires spread rapidly like a fire. There is no ending. Because of our passions, our desires, our lustful things, the world is going to end. It is more powerful than the physical fire. And the next one, human desire. Fire represents here human desires are more powerful weapons than physical weapons. And the next one, let's see here. Second thing, second stanza that expresses ice. Ice represents hate or hatred, cruelty, human hatred, hate qualities or hatred, our hatredness, our insensitivity, our indifference amongst the people become us cruel, more cruel than these weapons. Our hatred, fire, desire, our desire make us cruel. These weapons are more powerful than fire and ice. And the globe, once you see here, like the world, first North Pole and South Pole completely with ice, occupied with ice. And the mantle you see here completely fired, mantle of the crust, the centric point of the earth, completely filled with fire, lava, the liquid, fire liquid. So that's what, even it comes out, even the surface, both of the surfaces, the North Pole and South Pole can submit. So like human desire, the quality is human quality is two qualities, a desire quality, human desire, a desire and hatredness are enough to spoil this world. I hope you understand. Not only fire and ice, human desire and hatred are enough to spoil. Hatred are enough to spoil. This is what. So if it had to perish twice, that means he wants to talk about second time, the destruction of the world, ice is enough. Our hatred qualities, our hatredness is enough to spoil the world, destroy the world. So this is what the poet's opinion about the poem Fire and Ice. It's philosophically good. Eschatology. What is the meaning eschatology? Eschatology, the end of the time. The end, even all the Christians are waiting for the second coming. They feel that how the world is going to end. All right. So now let's move on to figurative language, what Robert Frost used here. And it is a short introduction, the summary of the poem. There are many ideas about how the world will end Do you think the world will end someday? Have you ever thought what would happen if the sun got so hot it burst, grew colder, colder? Yes, this is what the idea is about the people. Fire and Ice is one of the Robert Frost's shortest poems. It was written and published 1920. That's the reason after the World War I. And so, we discussed Robert Frost influenced by Dante Inferno, Hell. So it has, he wants to suggest, through this poem. This is what conclusion is. Poem reveals is that love, compassion, equality, considerateness, and sympathy alone can help mankind in establishing a peace on the earth. So we want to establish a peace on earth. Love, compassion, equality are very important. Here are two contractions. Fire and Ice always contradiction, one another. Example, a small fire is good, a small ice is good for day-to-day life, but large amount, too much amount, like our desire, one desire is okay, and like ice, too much ice, that leads to destruction. A small amount of fire is good to cook, to prepare food and everything. Like a small desire, human desire is okay. But more than like too much desires, like a fire, spread and spoil our human nature, humanity. We become more cruel to destroy, kill one another. Now country to country. Now every country is now against to another country to keep or bomb them and destroy them. That's what the poem is. Now let's move on to the poet's literary device of this poem. Dear students, here AB, the first stanza rhyme scheme, AB, AA, first stanza, and AB, AB, ABA. Now let's move on to rhyme scheme of the poem. And this is a fire, and this is a desire, this is A, and this is A, and fire again repeated, so this is B. So what is the first stanza rhyme scheme? A, B, A, B, A. This is first stanza. Now next stanza, now let's move on to next stanza rhyme scheme. This is A twice, this is B, hate, this is ice, these two are similar, and A, this is great, and B, hate and great are same, B, and this is suffice, twice ice, suffice are same. So this is, so second stanza rhyme scheme is A, B, and AB are, tell me now, AB and again A and B, A. This is the second stanza rhyme scheme. Now next figurative language, a literary device. Let's move on to next one, alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration, the repetition of consonant at the beginning of two or more words immediately succeeding each other or at short intervals. So first to say here, you see once some say sa sound is repeated twice. Old will, w sound is repeated here, and again some say, and here sa sound. So consonant sound is repeated. This is called alliteration. These two lines you can find out, and moreover, and the next line also you can find out alliteration. Fa sound, sound. This is fire and favor. these two consonant sounds are repeated. So the third line, this line is also alliteration. Next figurative language is here. Anaphora. Anaphora. What is this? A-N-P-H-A-R-A. Anaphora. What is anaphora? When two or more consecutive lines start with the same word, the repetition of a praise at the beginning or praises, sentences or verses used for emphasis. Now you can see here the word repetition beginning two consecutive lines. First two are repeated here. Some, 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 some. Same words repeated here. That is called anaphora. Anaphora, these two lines, some, some. Next, a literary device is assonance. Assonance. The repetition of similar or identical vowel sounds but start with different consonant sounds. Now notice once here, hold O, who O, those O, and favor O. O sound is repeated here number of times and fire I sound here. So O, 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 I. So, and now see here, hold O, those O, who O, favor A, and favor, favor, and fire I. So completely consonant sound, vowel sound is repeated here. That is assonance. Assonance. And now next one is symbolism. Next, figurative language or literary device, not figurative language or literary device, symbolism. The use of symbols to represent ideas and qualities, that is symbolism. Fire symbolizes human desires, whereas ice stands for hatred. These two qualities are represented through fire and ice. Symbolically we have to see human desires, desire, and ice, hatred. Ice is the symbol of hatred, human hatred nature, cruelty, are enough to spoil, decay, or destroy the world. Right. Next figurative language, next poetic device is enjambment. Enjambment, a technique in poetry whereby a sentence is carried over the next line without pause or comma, full stop. And first poem we discussed, Dust of Snow Even, and this is also. Notice here, after a comma here, after a comma, and there is no comma, no punctuation, no comma, no punctuation. Up to here, you see once up to here, up to the last suffice. Here only kept full stop, full stop. So the line carried, the poetic line is carried to next line. The sense is carried, the line is carried without using a pauses, a full stops or a pauses. This is called enjambment. Enjambment. Right. Next figurative language is imagery. Imagery. So language that produces, what is imagery? And language that produces pictures in the minds of the people reading or listening. Imagery is a figure of speech where a thing gives out another meaning than its literal meaning. Now generally the poet used here fire and ice, but what imagery we have to get here? A desire, fire imagery, a desire and human patience and hatred in human relations. And ice, coldness, are the feelings of cold feelings of the human represented here. These are the imageries are used. Next figurative language is personification. And tell me once, personification. And we have studied last year even. Personification. Human qualities are given to non-living things. Non-living things. Human qualities are given. Generally we use that when we speak loud and our father or mother or somebody else says that speak slow, speak low. Walls have ears. So wall do not have ears, but they use. This is the way is called personification. Personification. So human qualities are given to non-living things. Here, fire and ice are not humans, but all the destructive qualities are given. All the who destroy the world, human beings destroy the world, but destructive qualities are given like human beings to fire and ice. This is personification. The last one is paradox. The last literary device is paradox. A paradox is a statement that contradicts itself. But now see here, and the last second stanza we can notice, but if it had to perish twice, once only destruction will happen once only. If it perish twice, that means if it had to perish twice, second time, if second opinion goes, and that is ice. It is contradictory ideas are ice and fire are contradicts each other. All right. So that it is last line. Second stanza, first line is a paradox is mentioned here. So this is all about Robert Frost poem, a beautiful theme, short line, 9 lines poem, 51 words hardly that we can count, but gives a larger significance, and it deals with how the world is going to end. Different people opinion as considered, and now poet's opinion is also given here, and he supports a fire. And moreover, he agrees, he confesses that the hatred quality, the hatred of humans also have great power, like it's a weapon to destroy the world. So what he was going to tell us, humanity, patience, love, compassion, not patience, compassion, love, sympathy, kindness will sustain the world forever. So I hope you understand in a better way. Thank you for watching my video, and next video we are going to learn and one more lesson, prose lesson. Thank you. Bye.